Okay, here we are again in KG's Kitchen. Well, I haven't done a cooking video in a while, so I thought it's about time to do one. So today seems like a perfect day to do one. And I think by the looks of this you can tell what we're going to be making. Just a simple dish. We're going to do fried cabbage and kielbasa, and onions, of course, in the old copper chef. So that's what we're going to do. So, like I say, it's simple, easy, and delicious. So let me get these onions cut up and we'll go from there. Okay, there we go. We got the onions peeled. Getting ready to cut them. And you probably thought I was going to forget to say it, didn't you? But you're wrong. Leave the hairy end on. For those of you that don't know why, you leave the root end on until you get your onion chopped up. It keeps the onion together. Works great. So, always keep the hairy end on. Learned that on a TV show, Worst Cooks in America. Let's get this thing chopped up. Alright, there we go. The onions are both cut up. And look at this. I'm telling you, works. Instead of having your onion just slide apart, fall completely apart when you're trying to cut it, dice it, slice it, whatever you're trying to do to it, you leave that root end on, and I promise the onion stays together. And I didn't learn that until, last year or so. I wish I'd known it a lot longer, or a lot before that. But yeah, right there. I know that looks like a lot of onions going in here, but it really isn't, because they'll cook down. These are going to reduce down quite a bit. That onion has me crying. You can probably hear me sniffling. Alright, let's move on to the kielbasa. Okay, I like to use the skinless. The skinless kielbasa. It doesn't have to be A.K.A, but this is a pretty good brand. But I like to use the skinless. You know, then you don't have that snap. You're not like, some people like that snap with sausage, but me, I don't. So I use skinless kielbasa each time. So let's get this cut up into little pieces, and we'll get both this and the onions going, and then cut the cabbage up. So let's get this chopped up. Alright, there's what it's looking like so far. Like I said, we're going to put the onions and the kielbasa both in this pan over here. Put a little bit of olive oil in there to get it going. A little salt, pepper. Turn that on low heat. And you know, just start frying them up a little bit to get a little color. In the meantime, we'll cut this cabbage. Get it all ready to go in there. When the onions and kielbasa is to the point that I like it, then we'll go ahead and throw that cabbage in on top of it. Put the lid on it, and turn the heat down low, and let it cook for a while. So let's get some olive oil in this pan, get the fire on, get these in there. Alright, so we have the olive oil in there. Not much. It doesn't take much, because the onions have a lot of liquid in them, and the kielbasa, it'll render off some fat also. So it doesn't take a whole lot, just a little something to get them going. So let's go ahead and dump these in there. Get all this in there. Hard to do with one hand. I know. I have a tripod. But I'm doing this with my phone today, just because it was here in front of me, and it was convenient at the time. So we're doing this with the old cell phone. All right, got that stuff in there. Let me get me a spoon. Oh, and you know what spoon I grabbed too. That's right. My little burn up one. Love it. You hear that? Already starting. Okay, let me salt and pepper this a little bit. Be right back. See? I told you I'd be right back. There it is. A little bit of salt and pepper. Get that mixed in there. You hear that? That's the sound of love. That sizzle? Oh yeah. This is already smelling absolutely wonderful. Can you smell that? Alright, let me put the lid on this thing. Get this cabbage chopped up. And we'll be right back. Okay, there's the cabbage all cut up. That small head produced quite a bit, didn't it? But like I've said before, this will cook down. I know it looks like a lot, but cabbage cooks down quite a bit. Let's check on this. Oh yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. It's getting there. I'm gonna let these onions reduce a little more, get a little more caramelized. Then we'll throw the cabbage in there. Turn the heat down somewhat, and just let it kind of simmer away. I know I call it fried cabbage, and I guess it doesn't actually fry, but it sounds good, so that's what we'll call it. Let's see how this is tasting. Oh yeah. All right, another minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and throw that cabbage in there. Okay, let's see if these are where we want it. Oh yeah. Yep. See that? That's what you want right there. When those onions reduce down like that, and all the flavors are being released from this kielbasa, that's what you're wanting right there. So, now that we got that where we want it, let's go ahead and throw this cabbage right on top. I'll take a little bit out of the top of it before I load it all in, so I'll end up spilling it. Kind of jostle it around if you got to get it in there. You know, I better just keep on feeding it by hand because it might be too much for this little pot. We will see. There goes some on the floor. I know you're probably saying, stop right there, that's too much. Nah, it's not too much. No, it'll fit. We'll make this stuff fit in here. If I gotta take off my shoes and stand up in the pot, we'll make her fit. Probably wouldn't taste too good after that, but we'll get her in there. Alright, see what's left? Here it goes. Let's see if I don't get it all over the floor. Yeah, so far so good. Come on. A little bit. There we go. Alright. That's it. We got all the cabbage in there. And it is sticking up. What we're going to do now is turn the heat on, like I said. And then throw a little bit more salt right on top here. Salt it. Salt it pretty good. And I'll tell you why. That salt helps the cabbage break down. Place your lid on there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Like a glove, almost. That'll cook down. So, I'm going to let this go for a couple minutes. Clean up my mess. And then we'll come back and stir this and see how it's doing. You know what? I almost forgot the big pat of butter you got to put on top. See that? You put the big pat of butter up there as it starts heating all the way through, that'll run down into the pan and provide a little extra liquid, fat, however you want to say it. It'll provide a little extra so that your cabbage and kielbasa and everything cooks together real nice. So, and then we're going to put a little bit more black pepper on top also. So let's do that. There we go, just like that. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to kill it with pepper. But I like, fresh cracked black pepper on my cabbage. I like it on everything actually. So, all right, let's put the lid back on this thing. Don't worry, that'll all smash down. It's all going to cook down. Now I'm going to leave this alone for a little while, and then we'll be back. We'll come back and see how it's looking. Okay, there's after about 15 minutes. About 15 minutes. It takes a while to cook, it really does. About 15 minutes of simmering, and I stirred it once, but you can see how it's breaking down. And see how it's produced its own juices down in there. So we're gonna let this cook for another, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes probably, until the cabbage is good and tender. I like my cabbage to be done. I don't like it real chewy or crunchy or anything. I'm a big fan of cooked cabbage when it's all the way cooked. But you see how that's reduced down quite a bit. So it's looking good and it's smelling good. Man, does it smell good. All right, I'm gonna put the lid back on here, and then we'll come back in about 20 minutes or so. Okay, there's after about another 10 minutes. Okay, you see how it's cooking down quite a bit. Now, when it gets to this point, I'm going to leave the lid off and let this liquid evaporate until there's almost nothing in there, and that's when you get your fried cabbage. So when you get it to this point, just leave the lid off. The better part of that liquid from the onions and all that will evaporate, and you'll see what happens here. Okay, check this out. See how much that liquid's reduced? You hear it sizzling? Sounds like it's frying. Now I'll tell you what, you could take and cook this down as far as you want it. In the past, I've cooked it down and then actually browned the cabbage by frying it at the end here. But this here is about done to my liking. So, like I say, it takes a while. This is not a quick dish, but it's simple. Just a couple ingredients. And it's very good. I'm gonna let it cook for another couple minutes. Turn it off, we'll take some out, plate it up, and we'll let you guys know just how good it is. Alright, there it is. I'm gonna call this done. This is done to me. This is how I like it. Almost all the liquid's gone. Cabbage is cooked down nicely. Starting to fry a little bit, as you can see by the color. We're going to turn this off. I'm going to put some of this on a plate, and we're going to try this. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Tell me that doesn't look good. You can't do it, can you? No. You want to know why? Because if you did, you'd be lying. That looks great. So you know what? There's only one thing left to do. Let's give this Absolutely 100% delicious. Done to perfection. That is pure love right there. Pure love. Well, there you have it. My rendition of fried cabbage and kielbasa with onions. Very simple. Very simple, very few ingredients. Does take a little bit of time because we're doing it on the stove top, but it's well worth it. So there you have it. Until next time, thanks for watching.